Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is Doc Severson with Ready Set Crypto, and today is Wednesday, the 3rd of May. This is Fed Day. We just had a Fed statement, Fed policy release, came out about an hour ago. They raised rates a quarter point, which is no surprise, but they did talk about potentially tapering off, backing away, backing slowly out of the room and stopping these rate hikes. And the market's not exactly moving in the way that you would expect it to do, right? Because a lot of this is already priced in. And there is a feeling that they may have already gone too far, right? Because all of this is trailing data. Anyway, all right. So welcome aboard, everybody. Want to welcome you here to Ready Set Crypto. And this is the live session that we do once a week. Want to join or welcome everybody who is joining us here today from wherever you are in the world. Let us know where you're coming in from. Smash the like button if you get a second, so you can let everybody else know that we have started here today. What we typically will do is I'll go around the market just for a second or two here and look at some assets of interest to us in crypto, and then I will move on and look to your requests. So typically we're out of here by the 30 minutes after the hour. And it's a quick session, so it's I will look to you and your input in terms of where you want this to go. So welcome aboard, everybody. We do have Najib going for a half 50 basis point rate hike. Okay, great. Hey, Joe, thanks for joining us here today. Rajith, thank you. Let's see. Joe is coming in from South Shields, UK. I do not know where that is. I do not know where South Shields is. And let's see, Ron A. Good crypto afternoon from Columbus. Flavortown. All right. We have Tyler going yo-yo. We have Natas. Good evening to you as well, too. And Bergwolf is from Italy. I'm coming to you directly from beautiful downtown Greenville, South Carolina. The weather's still cold here. We had an outstanding February where the flowers busting out all over the place. We had 60, 70 degrees. And now we're barely scraping into the 60s. It's just been one wave after another coming down from Canada. Keep that shit up there, would you? All right. Who else is, okay. So up near Newcastle. I've had some Newcastle Brown before. Hasn't everybody, right? Drew from Pennsylvania coming in. Let's see, Colin, Yo Doc, met you in London. Meetup. All right, outstanding. Good to see you. Let's have a Duxford meet soon. I'd love to come back. Oh, I'd love to come back. It's been 4 years. It's been way too long. Never heard of it. Yeah. Newcastle Brown. All right. Wasn't Newcastle also the location of that movie, The Goal, or something like that? But that kid from Mexico that joins a Premier League team, Cinderella story, former greenskeeper from Mexico about to become the next Premier League champion, something like that. All right. So I think that was Newcastle. Anyway, I like that movie. It was like the British Rocky, right? All right, let's look at what's going on here. We have the dollar index. The dollar index is weak today and has been being destroyed for a long period of time as they print. You wonder what's going to happen as we get into the end of this month, because we've got this debt ceiling debate going on. I wonder if they're going to destroy the market doing that. All right. So that's enough of that. BTC today is just in this. Oh, let's see. I'm going to bring over my magic pen over here so I can draw some stuff on the screen. And what I'm seeing here is just a big consolidation so far. Now, I'll tell you what should happen to this, and I'll tell you what probably will happen with this. This is just a big triangle formation setting up, kind of an extension of what we had here. Now, triangles, I think it's like a 70% probability that it should break out to the upside from here. And this is where we typically go into the RSI Laguerre and say, do you have enough energy? Yes, you do. Although if we go out to the weekly chart's still building up energy. This has been a strong move on the weekly chart, going from, 16,000 up to, just about doubled. So that does take some energy out of the chart. Can't go up forever, right? So range expansion goes to range contraction. Maybe we need another couple of weeks here at this level, but I'll tell you what will make things go faster. And this is what I've seen in the markets for the past year or two, is when everybody leans in this direction, everybody expects the breakout to the upside, that creates a bull trap. And what happens is you usually get a failed breakout, which dives to the downside. This is the same thing that happened here. We had a nice little triangle pennant pattern. Everybody's expecting this to break to the upside. Actually went lower, smacked down against 20 grand, and then boom. So this is something, now I'm looking for the price to come down to about 25 right now. That to me is the most logical place for this to come to. The way I would like to see it, this is not going to make me popular in here. The way I'd like to see it is I'd like to see a false breakout. I'd like to see a failed breakout at 30,000. And the reason for that is because this will charge up the chart very quickly, will also provide a level of support down here at the swing test. And there's also some other very important levels down there as well too. We have some anchored VWAP levels that are coming into play from the beginning of the year. That will be that will be in confluence right around 25,000. And then that I think would be the slingshot moment for the market to bounce off of 25,000. Now there is a gap down here. I'm not a big believer in that gaps have to be filled, but there is a big one down at 20,000, which got started in March 10th as the market ripped over the weekend and left behind the CME futures. Well, there we go. What about the head and shoulders pattern? Okay, well, this is this is pretty ugly. It certainly is ugly, but if you consider this to be left shoulder, head pattern, right shoulder, then the target would be somewhere down in this area. Keep it clean now. Target would be somewhere down in this area. The measured move is the distance between the neckline and the top of the head. So this would be down maybe 25, 24 for the head and shoulders pattern. Although you can, once you start seeing patterns, you start seeing them everywhere. All of a sudden you start like, oh, well, this is a great big head and shoulders pattern that's just building. So this could actually drive the right shoulder. I just don't see that many of them happening. What I see more of are inverted head and shoulders a lot of times, because it sets up with a higher low and then we get, nobody sees that one coming. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing on BTC. So again, we're not here to predict the future. I'm saying what I want to see, because what if that happens, if we get a failed breakout at 30,000 and that creates the bull trap, we're going to come screaming down to 25. We're going to get the negativity off the charts. And what you have to understand is if you want the market to go higher, you've got to build the negativity. Remember the last time we had a decent bull market, wasn't the negativity off the charts? Wasn't everybody saying, oh, this thing's going to die. This thing's going to die any day now. And that's what happens. Markets climb the wall of worry. That's how it works. You've got to get, this is where you get this sympathetic movement. You've got too many bears with a weak hand, and you've got institutional support at a lower price. That's the recipe for this thing to move. Okay. I'm not going to go through the rest of these because quite honestly, this is really a top 5 market, maybe top 2. That's about it. Nothing else is moving with the exception of, I'm going to mispronounce this, but Pepe. This is the latest meme coin, right? So Pepe is the latest meme coin, and it has bounced off the 50% fib, and it's ripping today. So this is kind of amazing, really. It's bouncing off the 50% fib and is getting it on. All right, so get yourself some Pepe at point. You could buy 1 million coins of these right now for $1. 1 million for $1. They're on sale. Get some now. Okay, so that is Pepe. That is the only other meme coin. I typically don't go into these things, but it's like sometimes the numbers, the leverage is just staggering, and it's fun to play with this stuff. But you know, just like Dogecoin, just like Shiba, it's not a good long-term investment. It just moves and pumps with everybody else, and you either get a good price or you don't. So wouldn't worry too much about it. Okay, so I'm going to go into the requests, and I invite you guys to chat them in. Chat in the requests. Let me know what you guys want to look at. And the first request that I've got from folks here is Joe. Joe drinking his Newcastle Brown, and we're going to look at INJ versus Tether. And this is actually a pretty good looking chart. We've got the anchored VWAPs on here, and we're going to have some support coming in around 620, 650 or so. And right now we're seeing the same kind of thing. This is a lower high, so that is the beginning of a reversal, right? So this is a warning signal, but so far this is a higher low. And so we're doing the same thing. We're building a big triangle. This is a very, very common consolidation, which you see at the daily chart, which on the weekly chart is just a nice big swing higher. So it's just a nice big swing higher, but at some point after it goes vertical, range expansion moves to range contraction. If we look out here at the RSI Laguerre, we're going to see exhaustion. And so this is coiling sideways. This is doing exactly what it needs to do. So this is a good looking chart. I like this one a lot. Looks really good. So just be patient. I would say the sign, the warning sign would be is if you lose this trend line. So this trend line is somewhere around in this area. You could make it there. You could make it there, somewhere in this area. If you start to really lose that trend line, that's where you should probably bail if you're already long. All right, next one is Woo. So we'll look at Woo versus Tether, and same comments. It's exactly the same chart, almost exactly the same looking chart. So just a little bit cheaper asset. So perhaps they're related in terms of their industries, but still looking very good. And let's see, the next one is Avalanche. Avalanche, right? Yeah. And this one, I'm just going to do price and volume. This one's like just about everything else. This one, actually, if you zoom out, this is still building a base. And it's still trying to figure out what it wants to be when it grows up. But this is basically a big base that it's building. And you got to be patient while it's building this base, because the tendency is like, oh, let's break out. And it goes right back down into the pattern again. So you got to be patient while these things are in the base, and you have to wait for this to show some strength and some volume to break out. In this case, maybe around 24 to 30 or so. So don't get chopped up down in here. If you're already holding it long, it's going to be a long wait before this thing breaks out of the base. Okay. And now, am I pronouncing that right? Is it Rene from CBus? Give me the phonetic on that one. I'm not very good with that stuff. Okay, so let's look at Cardano. Cardano is kind of in the same boat here. It's kind of in the same boat. Just run. Okay, cool. The way I'm looking at this one, kind of the same thing with Cardano. It's still rolling around down in the gutter. And boy, I miss some things about CBUS. I miss the food in Columbus was great, and the shopping was tremendous. It's just that everything was so spread out. The traffic has gone crazy there. So I've gone warmer, I've gone smaller, but there's parts about Columbus that I do miss. I miss game day too. But yeah, this is the base right now for Cardano. And so every one of these breakouts has been a false breakout so far. So wait until this thing gets above, I'd say 45 cents or so. And then you're in like Flynn. Yeah, short north. Yeah, that's where, hey, they brought a Jenny's down here, Jenny's ice cream. They got Jenny's ice cream down here. So, which is probably not a big surprise, but yeah, we discovered that stuff must have been 10, 12 years ago. Crazy good. Okay, let's see. What else we got there? I did look at the dollar. I'll look at the dollar again. So that's all right. That's for Ron. So CGPT for Colin. I can't even say that. CGPT. Who came up with that name? Come on. Is that anything to do with Chat GPT? Okay, so what's going on with this one? Well, this one's a very immature chart, right? So it's brand new and there's no real patterns here, but it's in accumulation. So the only thing that you can look at here is you can see some volume coming in, right? So that's good, check. Volume coming in, and you're seeing some range expansion, range contraction. So what you don't want to see is you don't want to see this thing falling back into the pattern. That would be an immediate sell. Chain GPT. Okay, so anything that with a GPT on it, I'm sure is going crazy. Man, I don't know, I'm sure you guys have a lot more experience with this stuff than I do, but I just signed up for GPT Plus a couple of days ago, and I started using GPT-4, which is different. And oh my God, you know, I'm trying to apply Python and stuff, and it's incredible. It's like, okay, I'm just stupid, right? Like I'm typing stuff and it's like I'm getting error messages. And so I'm just copying the error messages back to GPT-4. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And it's like coaching me through exactly what I'm supposed to be doing and the commands and all that stuff. It's incredible. So $21 a month, I think it's worth it. So Chain GPT, huh? Well, that's my thought on this one. Okay. So you'll get more clarity with more time on this as it starts to move. But yeah, keep us in the loop. If you guys see something moving, by all means, please let us know. Okay. Marcel wants to look at IMX. And we're just going to do these versus Tether. Now, it's had a good year so far, but I don't like where it's going right now. Remember, use thy trend lines. And the trend line says right now that we have failed that trend line. So we were in a nice uptrend until the last few days, and then it's getting ugly. It's still above the 200-day moving average. What could be happening here is that this might be just a weekly pullback. This might be just a weekly pullback. So let's expand this out here. So it's going to go up, it's going to go down, you know, so right now you're on warning with this thing because we just lost the trend line. But as long as it holds to a higher low, so what has to happen here is that this support level at 90 cents has to hold. And if it gets some traction up here, good. But if it loses 90 cents, if it goes down, especially if it undercuts 80 cents, it's bad. Oh, Mav is outstanding. Mav is outstanding. He's got some new things he's working on, and I could not be prouder. He is doing great. Can't tell you what that is, but it's, you guys will see him somewhere down the road. Okay, so that's IMX. Let's go look at Jasmine. Jasmine, okay, so let's see this one here. Again, it's working on a base, trying to get out of it. Yes. Yeah, we try not to talk about that too much, but yeah, he's the new and improved version of me. The new and improved version of me. Okay, so taller, better looking, better hair, better beard, you know, all that stuff. You know what that is. All right, so this one, Jasmine is still building a base, down here. So still immature, but, you know, has had some rough times here lately. Be patient with Jasmine. Okay. Yeah, we tried to keep that quiet, so we're trying not to feature it, but, okay, so next one is, Natas. And we're going to go back to the dollar bill, y'all. Okay, so we're going to go to indices, dollar bill, y'all, TXY. I certainly shall. Okay, so this is the dollar. The dollar's been, you know, it's in the process of running down, and we all know why, right? And actually, a lot of this has been since we started doing sanctions, you know, so there's no winners in that whole situation with this. There's lots of reasons for this, but the dollar's heading lower, and the concern is that the dollar may be losing its luster as the world's reserve currency. And, you know, but it'll take a long time before that actually does happen, but we'll see. But right now the dollar it's got to hold some support here. Now, the one thing we talk about is, like, if you are trading something versus a US dollar, if the dollar ends up going lower in value and your asset stays in par value, then the entire thing goes up. So this is how inflation happens. Asset inflation happens when the dollar loses its value. Okay, next one. Let's see. Next one is gold. And if it's all right, I'm just going to use GLD because it's probably the easiest one to look at. GLD is just an ETF. GLD is just an ETF. Now, this is such a huge pattern. We have to look at this on the weekly chart. So this is actually, let's go out to the monthly. It's an enormous pattern. Look at this. This is a monthly cup with handle pattern. So watch out with this thing. Watch out for this thing. If it gets really above 190, 195, 200, it may rock and roll. Okay, so we'll go out to the RSI Laguerre and look at this. Not quite as much energy down here as we could have on the monthly chart. This might be just another month or two away from leaving the station. Weekly chart is a little bit diminished. Daily chart's all ready to go. So we're going through a daily bull flag right now, trying to break out. But if this thing starts getting real traction above 200, it's gone. And the one thing that you can look at here is the measured move target from this, bam, is the distance between, I'm going to say let's just go ahead and say that's 100 points between 100 to 200. So that would be 1,000 to 2,000 on gold itself. So that is roughly a 100 point. So this is going to take it up to 3,000 on gold futures when this measured move hits. Now, how do I say this? Gold is one of the most difficult instruments to trade. I mean, just because we have a chart pattern setting up doesn't mean that the setup is there today. And it may take a lot of people under the water. Typically, this thing does not leave the station until it disappoints absolutely everyone. I've seen it so many times before. This is by far the hardest instrument I've ever had to trade. Well, the Gold Trust, the Spider Gold Trust, I think is a good one. Lots of people have different opinions on that. Some people like to trade gold miners because they get more bang for the buck. This thing is not cheap. You know, it's $190 a share now. So it's been a while since I've looked at the miners though. But there was, there's also like, there's some of the, these ones are not good for holding a long time, but there's Nugget and Dust. So this is Gold Miners Bull 2X shares. So let's go out to the daily chart on this one. So again, these are, because of the way that they price these, they eventually they destroy themselves and they reverse split all the time. But if you want to take some interesting, Nugget and Dust are kind of fun to play back and forth with these two. But yeah, the simple way to do it is just GLD. So you can also look at, I think it's GC for gold futures. So again, that's up at 2,000 now. GC for gold futures. And I don't remember the smaller gold contract. There's two gold contracts. One's got a lot more leverage. It's been years since I've traded them, probably 10 years. And they're just ass kickers. They were just terrible. Okay, next one is Bergwolf wants to look at Chainlink. Let's look at Chainlink. The mighty Chainlink. This one was the coin. Remember with that? Chainlink was the coin a while back, especially during the bear market, right? So during the horrible bear, like, 2021, stuff like that, Chainlink was the one that was like rocking and rolling. So Chainlink was our rock star all the way until the spring of 2021. And it's just been just utter crap. So can you see what I'm seeing here? It's the base. It's the base. Chainlink is in a base. So unfortunately, it's been sentenced to purgatory in this base, and you're going to have to wait until it breaks 9 to 10 before it leaves the base and may have some power behind it. Okay, so that's Chainlink and Bergwolf. Let's take a look at Matic. Let's take a look at Matic, and I know what I have it over here. It's right there. Okay, so that's Polygon. And this has been a frustrating chart because this to me just looks like a big, ugly bear flag on the weekly chart. It just doesn't look good. It has made some progress since June of 22. It has made some progress, but it's just every time it gets up ahead of steam, it gets destroyed. And now it's trading below the 200-day moving average. The green moving average is 200-day. So it doesn't chart well, and it's not responding well to all the other things that are happening in the market right now. So I would say right now this is a void until you have better reason to trade it. Okay, guys, we have cleared the deck. So I just wanted to say thank you for coming in here and joining me here today. And by the way, if you want to check it out, we have a 1 week for free trial at ReadySetCrypto.ONE, ReadySetCrypto.ONE. And that is our service that we do. And this is what it looks like. So you can see, some of the things that are out there. And we've got a bunch of courses that are out there, as well as trading signals that are coming in, and willing to put more of those in as well too. So these go directly out to you on your mobile app, which comes with part of the service. So it's an inexpensive service, and we give you a week of free trial. So check it out. So thank you, everybody. I'd like to thank you for joining us here today. And again, my name's Doc, and I'll see you guys next week. Adios, amigos.